Thank you. Hello and welcome back to Sheffield, to the City Hall and to the CMC 2024. My name is Marion Edwards. I'm the chair of the CMC Advisory Committee, and it is my honour to open up proceedings tonight. The programme is packed, and this year we have even more international guests, many of whom have already put in a shift at the International Exchange. Can I extend a big welcome to them and to everyone who has travelled from far and wide. Welcome to all of our newcomers who have dashed up from the first timers reception. Is anyone here or are you still in the pub? Rotherham's here, in yellow. Yes, hello guys. A special welcome to all of the producers and the exec producers who have put this year's programme together. And please give a big round of applause to all of our sponsors supporting the CMC this year. Our patron sponsors in particular, who are on screen now, and who are the backbone of our support. And the sponsor for this keynote, Fitzrovia Post. We are indebted to you all. The theme of this year's conference is Connect, Collaborate, Commit. We've connected, we're here in Sheffield, in order to collaborate, to share, learn, meet and discuss. And as for commit, we hope the programme addresses that, especially in strands like Inclusivity Now and the new Sustainability Now. We're acutely aware, as we come together here in Sheffield, that the kids industry is suffering a significant downturn. Revenues are decreasing, companies are scaling back, jobs are being lost, indies and freelancers are struggling. It's a very challenging time of massive technological change and shifting audience allegiances. We hope that the programme reflects this realistically, but also as we seek out new opportunities and new alliances with optimism. An optimism which will hopefully be boosted by the new government, who have at least made some of the right noises about supporting the creative industries. We need to retain optimism because what we do is vitally important, not just for the future of our businesses, but for the individual lives of kids around the country and around the world. If we commit to anything at this CMC, despite the difficulties that we all face, it should be to the audience who deserve the very best storytelling, truth-telling, playfulness and fun. At which point I can tell you about a commitment the CMC is making. During lockdown, we were able to successfully involve young people from disadvantaged backgrounds who could never imagine coming to a conference like this. It helped them get their first foot in the door. But since returning to Sheffield, the costs of travel and accommodation have prevented us from opening the door in that same way. So the Advisory Committee suggested a bursary scheme. And I'm pleased to announce that the key sponsor is now in place. A huge thank you to the legal company Mishcon de Reya, who will support the first year of the CMC bursaries, which means we can welcome its first participants to the CMC next summer. And thank you to the sponsors of this year's CMC who volunteered an additional 5% to pay for bursary places. And while we're on special thank yous, we couldn't let this CMC go by without acknowledging someone who recently left us. Someone whose contribution to the children's media industry in the UK was immense, and whose commitment to the youngest audience was total. Kay Benbow fought for preschool audiences during her entire career in television, as the producer of shows such as Tweenies and as controller of CBeebies, where she ensured that the channel, its programmes, and its many initiatives were dedicated to the development and enjoyment of our youngest children. One example of her innovative ideas is the celebration of theatre, which we'll be exploring at the conference this week. Kay was a wonderful collaborator, working with so many of you to make outstanding preschool content. She supported the creators, the children, and all of us at the CMC. In March, she lost her fight with cancer, and the industry and the kids of Britain lost a champion. Let's take a moment to remember and celebrate her life and career.
On CBeebies, I want the very best content possible because I think the very young deserve the very best.
And the BAFTA goes to CBeebies.
I know you all want your dinner, so this, as always, is for our very youngest viewers and a reminder to us all to keep delivering brilliant content and opening up the world for them. I'm absolutely amazed, but absolutely delighted because I love what I do, and it really is so important to have programmes for the really young. And if they start with great programming when they're little, let's hope they'll stay with great programming for the rest of their lives. It's a really collaborative and creative community of people who really care about the very young audience. And when I get letters from parents that say, my child spoke the first time because they watched something special, or that their child has been laughing along with Giggle Bears, or that they've learnt things about the underwater world through Octonauts. I just think it's about the audience and doing what's best for them. And I'm just so proud to be in this position. I think I've got one of the best jobs in the world.
Our keynote speaker today was herself commissioned by Kay. She's a musician, entrepreneur, philanthropist, presenter, performer, and passionate advocate for young people and the arts. Very soon, YolanDa Brown will be joining us to talk about keeping it real. But first, as is our tradition, we'll hear from a young person. And if we need a symbol of commitment, she's one. 8-year-old Moksha Roy has the distinction of being the world's youngest sustainability advocate, having begun at 3. Her family care passionately about the future of the planet and Moksha's future on it. And now that enthusiasm is entirely her own. She campaigns for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and Global Goals. And in the summer of 2021, she wrote to over 190 world leaders, asking them to include the global goals in their educational curricula. She received many responses, and here in the UK, an award from the Prime Minister, and the goals were included in the English school curriculum in 2022. Her YouTube channel carries her message far and wide, whether it's political activism or small steps like avoiding food waste. She's certainly a force to be reckoned with, and she has a message for all of us. Please welcome Moksha Roy. There we go.
Thank you, Marion, for the lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. I would really like to thank CMC for giving me this opportunity to address the CMC delegates this year. I hope that what I'm going to say today will inspire everyone here to create positive change through what you do as media makers. My parents have been celebrated scientists and accomplished healthcare professionals who made a really conscious choice to become sustainability advocates after I was born, with one selfish agenda: to protect me and our loved ones from the devastating impacts of climate change. So I learned about sustainability from the time when I was very young. Their inspiration and my empathy to preserve the world around me led me to becoming the world's youngest sustainability advocate, starting at just age 3, when I wanted to save the octopuses, fishes and mermaids and stop microplastic pollution. So now I advocate for sustainability to combat climate change for the very same reasons I brush my teeth every day. Just like we clean our teeth to avoid any horrible future pain or discomfort, we should also be combating climate change through our everyday actions to avoid and protect ourselves from the increasing dangers it poses. Just to let you know, I see no difference at all between the two. So I've never ever suffered from any climate anxiety. I did a short survey in my school and local community recently for children aged 4 to 10 years old, just to find out a bit more about their climate anxiety. So, the results showed that most children were super worried about climate change and knew exactly what it was. But surprisingly, most children thought that climate change was only affecting animals, such as polar bears and penguins. They have no clue that right now, climate change is affecting millions of people around the world, just as I speak. Most children thought that they could do something to stop climate change, but their knowledge is still limited to planting trees, turning off taps, switching off lights, walking instead of driving, and litter picking. But this is not enough. And this is where I see you media makers can play such an important role in helping children to overcome this horrible climate anxiety by empowering them with ideas and information which will help them to take bolder actions that will really impact our climate positively. But the big question I want to ask you all is, how brave and responsible can you be to empower and activate children's power to save the planet and us? Because that will determine if children are able to influence adults whose food, money, businesses, jobs, and the businesses they support are bringing the big changes needed. Are you ready to empower young children like me to pester their parents to only buy pre-loved clothes and shoes, buy only those toys that are harmless to the environment, donate money that they otherwise spend on birthday gifts to charity. Because children are still not understanding how everyday things like food, clothes and toys are contributing to climate change and then just endangering those poor polar bears and penguins that they care so much about. Are you ready to empower teenagers to ask even more difficult questions to adults? Like, Dad, does your company pay fair wages to people as employees in Africa? Mum, does your pension money get invested in oil and gas or in green energy? Aunt Sheila, you work for a global giant. Do they even pay any taxes to the UK at all? So, because only then adults will understand how their actions are actually endangering their own children's future. I believe that you have the superpowers to empower children so that they can be protected from climate anxiety. Because you can show them solutions of how everyday things and family choices such as shopping, food, clothes, holidays and travel is contributing to climate change, but then can also, if done sustainably, then can also reduce the impact on the climate. So, I believe that it is only through solution-led engagement that children can fully overcome the climate anxiety while creating a profound impact to the world around them. One such engaging example is the UN Water Week UK. Water Week is educating and inspiring children across the country to learn more about water conservation and stop water pollution. As a youth ambassador for Water Week, I call for support from all of the children's media organisations to amplify our efforts to have safe and clean water for all. So, now, like I said earlier, brushing my teeth is the same as climate action for me. So the next time one of you brush your teeth, will you ask yourselves, what can you do as a children's media maker to protect the future of the audience that you serve? Just like you tell your children that they must cross roads safely to protect them from accidents, we need to start empowering children to take action. Because it is only through hundreds of scripts, books and programs that you can show solution-led climate action. Not just occasionally, but exactly like brushing your teeth every single day. So, I'm going to leave you with one parting thought. Think about this. Are you ready to be brave and responsible responsible to create a real difference in combating climate change. Thank you.
We must be the only industry that allows itself to be upstaged by children. Multi-award-winning YolanDa Brown has not only toured the world with The Temptations, Jules Holland and Billy Ocean, but as chair of the British phonographic industry, she's an advocate for music professionals and music education in the UK. As chair of Youth Music, she's championed the idea that every young person should have the chance to change their life through music. And her appointment as a council member at the Arts Council England makes her a leading voice in their commitment to cultural experiences for everyone. She's also a trustee of the PRS Foundation, a Prince's Trust ambassador, and in 2023 she was awarded an OBE for services to music education and broadcasting. Then, and talk about poacher turned gamekeeper, this year she was appointed to the Arts and Media Honours Committee. So if anyone's looking for an MBE or a knighthood, you know who to be nice to. Beyond her work on boards and charities, YolanDa is a BAFTA-nominated broadcaster, with her CBeebies series, YolanDa's Band Jam, winning an RTS Northwest Award. And she's currently composing music for the iconic Sesame Street and the animated series Bees Block and Cocomelon Lane. YolanDa Brown is a Renaissance woman, a performer and a champion of music made for and by young people. Let's start by taking a look at her work.
Hi everybody, Elmo's here to talk about one of Elmo's heroes, but this hero doesn't have a cape or tights. This hero has a saxophone. It's Ms. YolanDa Brown. Ms. YolanDa makes children around the world happy with her beautiful music. Oh, that makes Elmo want to sing and dance. Thank you for being a music champion, Ms. YolanDa. Elmo loves you.
Now, YolanDa Brown has been awarded an OBE in the King's New Year's Honours List. It's for her services to music education and broadcasting, but that doesn't even begin to quantify how much this lady actually does.
I'm YolanDa and welcome to my band jam. Yeah! Me, see, you.
Hop, 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 do it on the spot, spot, spot. Never wanna see you stop, 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 cause I wanna see you hop, hop, hop.
It's Maximo Park.
Never, never let go of the roundabout when it spins around at such speed. It's high velocity.
Beverly Night.
I'm feeling good, never better. I'm playing with all the friends in my life. Yes,
Lightning Seed.
3 lines on the shirt, jewels remain still gleaming.
It's Vida.
YolanDa Brown,
Yes.
Can you tell me the name of this song and the artist?
I'm hoping that it's Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make me go to rehab, I said.
You are correct! That's right!
I'm going to just be real with you. I've only ever held a puppy before. So I am a little bit nervous, but I can't be as nervous as this little guy.
He's going to drop him in.
Good Godspeed.
Your name? Whoa! Look at him.
Bye, Puffling.
award-winning musician, presenter and restaurateur, YolanDa Brown cooks me her favourite family dish.
I should have been boiling the pasta at the same time. This happens at home. I always think it's going to be a quick dish. It never happens that way. 24 hours after a performance for the King at Westminster Abbey, saxophonist YolanDa Brown was in front of His Majesty again to collect her OBE. And she is here with us right now, and I'm very excited because I've not seen you for so long.
Oh, it's wonderful. One and only YolanDa! Oh, welcome to Justin's house!
Oh, thank you so much.
YolanDa?
Yes. I didn't realise the actual YolanDa was coming here.
Oh, suddenly I'm starting to feel a bit nervous.
I will love you forever, YolanDa.
Oh,
so carry on with the grown-up stuff and the kid stuff. And it's lovely talking to you. Please thank YolanDa Brown.
Please give a big CMC welcome to YolanDa Brown.
So wonderful to see you all. How are you doing? Good. Just letting you know that that is a sign of things to come. I'm very much about community, bringing people together, even though we have a gaping hole in the middle. What happened? But I want to speak to you about keeping it real. And at times, I will keep it very real. But in order to do that, would you join me and help me along the way if I ask for some help? Is that right? Yeah. Wow, not even hesitation. That's how you know it's children's. I love that. Perfect. All right. Well, when I ask you for some help, it'll probably involve a little bit of singing, because I'm a musician. So, like a true orchestra, it does look a bit like an orchestra pit here. We're just going to warm up our voices. So you can pick a note, any note. There's no wrong notes. It's going to feel so strange. There's a reason to this. Pick a note, any note, and after 3, just sing it loud. Very, very simple. 1, 2, 3. And a bit louder. And a bit lower. I didn't tell you what that meant either. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. That's good. We're warmed up. We're well and truly warmed up. So Marion kind of alluded to the first keep it real point that I wanted to share with you. And actually, it's something that I'm hearing across different industries. We're not alone. Budget cuts, things aren't being commissioned. It's just the way TV is now. It's just the way it is. There's no money anywhere. You've heard it? You've experienced it? How do you feel about it? Is it exhausting? Is it a bit draining? Yeah? And actually, we have to make sure that we don't let it get us down. There is a reason why we're here. There's a reason why we're doing this. There is an audience that depends on us. So, for my first little bit of singing, just to set the scene, if I say the word tragedy, what song comes to mind? I'm going to count to 4. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, and keep going. Sing it loud. Come on now. It's hard to bear, yes, but no one going up. Yep, I didn't write the words down on my iPad, so it's good. Thank you for the doo-doos, by the way. That was fantastic. I love your commitment. We're going to have a fantastic time together. Isn't it interesting, though? We're singing about tragedy. We're singing about how hard it is at the moment. But there is joy. There is laughter. There is coming together. There's community, as we sang that. So have we had enough of it, or are we going to fight it? That's it. We are. We absolutely are. It just involves some thinking out of the box. And I think what's really interesting is that across different industries, across different sectors, they're all trying to think outside the box as well. So hopefully, if we meet outside the box, we can create a new one. This is my hope. So thank you so much for the opening tragedy, setting the scene. But actually, it's our love for the effect of what happens. You know, seeing the amazing Moksha Roy. Give her another round of applause, please. future is so bright. The next generation, they already know what's needed. And they rely on us to pave the way so that they can come in, take up the mantle and make that change. I was laughing when you spoke about the toothbrush because I got a really snazzy one for my birthday last year. And if you brush your teeth for 3 minutes, it gives you a smiley face. But if you do 2 minutes and 50 seconds, or if you're in a rush, sometimes the 1 minute, you done that? Don't look too closely. You get an upside down smile. And every day, I do about 2:55, because I'm busy. And I just keep thinking I'm upsetting my toothbrush every day. And now I've got to save the world. But I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to do it for you, Moksha. It's really, really inspiring. One more time, please. So we know the state of the world at the moment. Hopefully, because of last week, there will be some changes that help us along the way, maybe. But it can't change what our plans are. It can't change what we do for the next generation, because let me tell you, there is a baby born every minute. There is a next generation on the rise that needs us, needs the media, the content that you are providing. And so actually we can't stop. And it leads me to my next little jingle. If I say, how deep? How would you complete that in song? You got a song for me? What you got? How deep is your love? Have you seen my notes? So we're going to do it because there is a lyric in there that I think is really, really important. So starting from how deep is your love? As high as you want to go. It was the Bee Gees after all. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1. How deep is your love? Is your love? I really... Sing it loud now, come on. Yes, we are. What are they doing? But let us be, because... And stop. I know you can go on, I know you can. And stop. We're living in a world of fools that are breaking us down when they all should let us be, because we belong to you and me. When we talk about children, and we talk about the media that they interact with, we talk about TV, we talk about factual magazines, we talk about the books, we talk about all the different things that they interact with, gaming. As a parent, we see that as a safe space, right? A space where our young people can explore, they can build, they can learn about the world. So how deep is your love to protect them? How deep is your love to make sure that they are getting a great, fun, exciting experience? But yet, as parents, and I am a mum of a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I should feel, and I just loved seeing the tribute to Kay. She was all about that safe space. CBeebies and being able to put your child down in front of the TV and know that they're going to be entertained, educated, and have lots of fun. Of course, the world is moving on. Technology is moving so quickly. My 4-year-old can use YouTube like, I don't even know where it came from. And yet, do we know the content that they're seeing when they swipe, when they click next? How do we make sure that we protect them? How deep is our love to make sure that they are okay? And all of this is about keeping it real, right? I want to keep it real with you. Our young people, they will be using technology. So I am that parent that says, I think they should use the screen. They should have access to it. They should learn about it. My 10-year-old is going to take the 11 Plus on an iPad. I went up to school sounding like a right old lady. I said, how are you going to do working out if you ain't got pen and paper? But they can. is the new day. So we can't fight it, but they are also human beings. And I just think it is so fascinating when we think about technology and how our young people are interacting with entertainment. What happens when they put down the screen and go outside? Where can they go? What can they do? Where can they get that same stimulation and entertainment and dopamine? How do they get it? And so as we speak about, technological media and TV and streaming and all these wonderful content areas, what happens in the real world? It's really interesting, festivals now have these family zones, and there are so many more family festivals, which is fantastic. And you can see these young people just enjoying, seeing their family up and dancing and enjoying and getting all these experiences. But what else can happen? And is there a way that some collaboration, it's my first C, keep tabs. Is there a way that more collaboration can happen across different mediums to make sure that the thing that they enjoy, maybe in the technological field, is available to them outside? And I say this because of the experiences I've had with Yolanda's Band Jam, and knowing that, especially in lockdown, so many families were watching the 2 series of Yolanda's Band Jam over and over and over again. And now we tour it. We're touring up and down the country, worldwide even, and playing these songs and seeing the young people enjoying it as if they were watching on their TV, but they were there in real life, seeing people next to them, seeing their parents up and dancing. Those wholesome experiences. And I end up signing T-shirts and books and all sorts after the show. The show is 60 minutes. The longest I've signed is for 4 hours. I kid you not, Royal Festival Hall. And yet every single child wants that interaction. And when I speak to them, I say, did you enjoy the show? They said, I was in the band jam. I was in it. I was like, that is a good way to look at it. You were at it, but they saw themselves as being in the TV, in the content that they'd been watching over and over again. That experience of living what they'd been enjoying on the TV screen or on the iPad screen was just so tangible to them. There has to be more crossover between what they're seeing on the screen and what they're living in real life. Because when we think about well-being, we think about the emotional intelligence of our next generation, is where we lose it. That social time, that interaction, that trying something new, that hearing something you've never heard before, or tasting some food you've never tasted before. And so, another call out to you, what value added can come from these experiences that our young people are enjoying? And that finally, after that beautiful How Deep Is Your Love, how about for you? What got you into this in the first place? What was the thing you loved that didn't take you to soaps or into Bitcoin? What is it that made you fall in love with children's entertainment and providing for that next generation? Has it changed much? Has it recentered? How deep is your love? Just check in every now and then. Because, and I'll come back around to it a bit later, when we know what it is that we want to give and create, it helps us in our decision making. And I'm thinking about TV, thinking about gaming, thinking about commissioning, thinking about how things get to the generation. Of course, we know how the industry works. Talking about publishing. What is it that made you fall in love with providing this entertainment and education to the next generation? Make sure that is front and center when making those decisions. It's not always about trends. I'm going to put it out there. I'm keeping it real. It's not always about trends. It doesn't even all need to be about the data. Everything's about numbers now. But yet when I go to take a picture with a young band jammer And of course, I'm tall, so I then stoop down to be on the same height. And then they stoop down, and I stoop down, and then they stoop down, and that interaction that they've had, that life memory that they have, the parents saying, thank you so much. You got any more episodes? That is the why. That is the why, always. So we're speaking about collaboration and reaching out. I feel a song coming on. I pick the word sweet. Sweet. Ah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Can we sing it? I can't remember. I've counted you in wrong for all 3 songs, but let's try it again. 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, and. Come on, sing it like you're at the football match. Come on. Keep going, we don't know this bit. Yep. Words. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was good. I felt it. I felt it. You know what I love when I hear this song? And I've heard it everywhere. Just recently I was on the coast of Norway during the summer solstice, where it was 3 o'clock in the morning and the sun was high in the sky. And we were all singing Sweet Caroline. I think we were delusional. But it was beautiful. Did you know that the oh, oh, oh is not part of the song? Go and listen to it when you get home. Did you know the so good, so good, so good? It's not part of the song. But yet we sing it with such conviction. We sing it like that is how it goes. Spotify better get it right. This is what collaboration looks like. When that song was written, when it got signed and someone thought, yeah, this is the one, let's put that out, let's release it. It didn't have that. But yet look at the anthem that it is today. Look at the joy that it gives people. But it's been remixed. So what can be remixed in our industry? What can be changed? What collaborations can happen outside of maybe this industry that bolster up what we need? How does it work? Just a little challenge, just to think, just because that's how it's always been, doesn't mean that's how it's going to be in the future. But we can also control that narrative somewhat. I love when you speak to young people, and the feedback is so important because they won't mince their words. They'll tell you what they think. When you listen back to a young person's experience, I remember playing in a school, and a young person wrote me a letter back and said, I absolutely loved hearing the saxophone. I felt it in my heart. You know? We as adults would never even think to write that. We'd never think to express ourselves in that way. So they actually have the key. They know what they want. They know what they want to see. But also, they take what they're given. What's for dinner, ma'am? You'll get what you're given. I have a terrible habit of asking my kids what they want. And I have cooked 3 dinners in one night before. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again. But equally, if I said, it's salmon and rice and peas, they'll eat it. They'll eat it. So how do we make sure that we're providing what they need? We're providing what they want. We're providing what will help them see the world. And no one can ever tell me that a child doesn't know what they want. If you've ever seen a newborn, and I just thought it was fascinating, how does a newborn, once born, know how to survive? I remember them putting my daughter on my chest when she was born, and she literally just went, survival. She would have found that milk, no matter what. She would have found it. And she was literally 2 seconds old. I just think it's fascinating. They know. Even in utero. Oh, this experience. So I'm a touring musician, an independent touring musician. There is no maternity leave. I'll speak to the next government about that. And so, of course, I was on stage, even the Rick Astley clip that you saw, that was my second daughter, I was 9 months pregnant with her then. Another thing, what is it about kneeling down? We were doing Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and he was like, ain't too proud to beg. And I was like, oh no, he's going down, I'm gonna have to go down. Uh-oh, I can't get back up. Great. But I remember, for both daughters, so it wasn't a fluke, being on tour, and both Jemima, who's 10, and Adelphi, who's 4, they had their favorite song. They had their favorite song. No matter what time of day it was, when I started to play the saxophone and play that song, they'd wriggle in my tummy. It's like the best kept secret on stage. I play it, the audience is all enjoying it, and there's this little tadpole. You know, they were bigger than tadpole by then, but you know. And what was interesting, little science experiment, was that once they were born, and of course, there's still no maternity leave, so we're back on the road. And my dad, who was our Manny on tour, he said, every time you played Tokyo Sunset, Jemima would wake up and start moving. I said, she's told him my secret. That was the song. So even once she was born, she can hear. She had a taste. She knew. So that next generation, from early years, and early years is so important. From early years, they know and they really want to hear. It's why I'm so passionate about them seeing live instruments, seeing instruments played, hearing a live bass or a live harp, and knowing what that is and feeling the vibrations of it. They know. So we should follow that and we should provide that. And I'm not saying there isn't anything wrong with electronic and produced and things like that, but we need a balance. We need a healthy diet. We need to make sure that they're getting the best of both worlds and keeping it real. Can I keep it real? I've loved writing for Cocomelon Lane. But they have a certain palette. Anyone watched Cocomelon before? Certain instruments they use, right? So I thought, you know what? I'm going to be that musician. I'm going to give them some live bass. Oh, no. The feedback came back. I don't think the bass is in that palette. If we could just go back to the marimba, that would be nice. Listen, they've got a formula and it works. But it's so interesting, right? I was like, but you could do so much more. You could stretch the palette just a little bit, see what they think. And so what would that feel like? What would that do? What would that look like? I think it is time to try it. I've got a song. It's just so brilliant. Walking. I heard you, don't hold back, it's all right. Walking where? Yeah, that's right. Very, very good. Walking on sunshine. Now, this for me is that jubilant moment. We've been through tragedy. We've been through it all. But this is the moment where we connect. This is the moment where we feel the sun on our faces and we rejoice. And you know why? Because of you. Because of the amazing work that you do. Looking up at Kay there, I remember seeing her just shortly before she passed, and we were at the Natural History Museum for the centenary celebrations for the BBC. And she loved her Arsenal. Oh, she loved. We're Toon Army in my house, we're Newcastle fans. So there was always a bit of conversation there. But the biggest smile and joy that of course she brought to her work, and I know there's the CBBS family is in the house now. Vanessa, you're here, right? Oh, and Roz is here as well. Oh, hello. This wouldn't happen anywhere else. I love it. Thank you. Thank you all, because what you give, that extra joy, never a tough word said, always in the moment to provide the best for that next generation. It is like walking on sunshine. It really is, and we can't lose it, no matter what happens. I'll keep it real in a minute. I was getting a bit emotional there. Let's move on. I did say children's media is a safe space, but children know when something isn't for real. I didn't say not real. I'm not going to talk about AI today, but let's talk about that next time. But they'll know when something isn't authentic, when it doesn't connect. They also can tell when there isn't representation because it doesn't speak to them. They can't engage as well with it. And it's something that I really loved about the project I worked on with Sesame Workshop, Bees Block. And it was all about kindness. Kindness is key. It's good to be kind. And yet, in those episodes, they tackled racism. They spoke about climate change. They spoke about when somebody's not safe or when they're ill and they can't be with their friends. Some really tough subjects. But we can't shy away from it. Don't baby the babies. Of course, you serve it to them in a palatable way and make sure that they're safe and there's understanding. But let's talk about it because we live in a tough world. We really do. And they're asking the questions anyway. Having a 4-year-old now and just driving along and you go, Mum, I think, oh God. But it is the content, it's the media that she engages with that will end up giving her the answer or give her an answer that and I have to now navigate. So just make sure that that sunshine is fed to them. Make sure that though they have these amazing technological developments and interactions, that the human element is there, right? Both can coincide, but we need to make sure that that human element is there. Make sure that there are humans on TV. Animation is fantastic. I work in animation. Animation is brilliant, and you can do so much. But actually, once you turn off that TV, you're not seeing any animations. And I can tell that my youngest daughter loves Bluey, because the question she'll, is this one for real life? Oh, is this one for real life? That's not for real life, is it? Is that for real life? She's really trying to balance what is real and what is not. But yet that's the next generation that's going to go on to have jobs. They're going to go on to work in this industry. They're going to go on to be surgeons and doctors and lawyers and dustbin people. They are going to be society. And we owe it to them to make sure that they understand what society is. So can we give them that sunshine? Can we agree to do that? Can we agree to give them that sunshine? Yes? Now, the trends might say something else, but we can strive to work and push and do more. Bring the real people. Create the future trends. Who says that we can't? So can I get a little bit of walking on sunshine? This is for the positivity, for the things that we can do, the changes that we will make, the live element of life back to the next generation. I'm going to count. I have no idea what the count is. A true musician. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, and 1. We're walking on sunshine. Yes. That's in the song. One more. Very good. Give yourselves a round of applause. I do just want to reiterate, an engaged child who feels safe both in entertainment and in real life will be able to overcome a lot of the hardship that we're hearing about now, that anxiety of, I don't know I don't know where to go, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to be. We can help with that. We really can. So it's all about this commitment, really, about being brave, about stepping out, about doing something different, about hearing out other people, about working with other industries. You hear it all the time, especially when it comes to education. And I think that was one of the most heartwarming things I heard about YolanDa's Band Jam during lockdown. Teachers running over to me and saying, "Thank you. I used YolanDa's Band Jam as a resource in my classroom." I got to tell you, honestly, when I was filming the thing and looking down the lens, I thought it was just a preschooler in their living room, honestly. That's who I was talking to. But to know that there were schools that were using it, they still do, to learn about music, to learn about the different elements of music education. We, in this industry, in the children's entertainment industry, are providing education, whether we like it or not. There is nothing that is made for a child that's just for fun, because it could be quite confusing. I'll tell you about a confusing time I had. I bought a glockenspiel, or a xylophone, for my daughter, made by Little Tykes. Know Little Tykes? It came with sheet music, color-coded sheet music. But the xylophone didn't play a scale. So she's reading them, and she did it really, really well. The red with the red and the green with the green. She's playing London, down. Mummy, that's not how it goes. Oh, I stormed up to Smith's. Oh, I did. I said, you need to take these off the shelf. That doesn't take away the sheet music or don't sell it. Is it a toy or are we getting some education? There has to be that protection. It confused the living daylights out of her. Me too. I couldn't even jam with her. Can we commit to help that next generation understand this world a bit better? Build that world view. So I challenge you to be brave. I challenge you to be champions. Champions of this next generation, as you have been. But things are going to get tough. Things are going to get tougher, should I say. So we can be champions. We are the champions. It's the last one, I promise. We are the champions. All together now. 1, 2, 3, and we are the champions, my friends. Sing. Do, do. We'll keep on fighting to the end. Yes, we are the... Yes, we are. Come on. Like you believe it. Come on now. 'Cause we are the champions. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, come on. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was amazing. Commit to diversity. Commit to representation. Commit to sustainability. Commit to education. Commit to joy. That's the why. That's the love. And if that can filter through all of the different areas that CMC covers for our next generation, we are in for good times indeed. And it never ends. I tell you, when you go home and you close your laptop, you're still on. There's still work to be done. And for me, you know, that next project was opening a live music venue and restaurant. But even though it is going to be a lovely place, people will dress up and they'll come and hear some lovely live music, have a mixture of Caribbean and African cuisine, there will still be concerts for children. There will still be space for family. There will still be space for the next generation to understand what live music is, have that first experience, want to know more and build more, And it's got nothing to do with children's. We can do it outside. We can. And we can do it together. So as you're networking during the conference, just keep thinking outside the box. Keep reaching out. And let's see what the possibilities will be. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to Greg and Fran. You've both been absolutely amazing. Give them a round of applause. What a fantastic conference. And to you all for making the next generation's dreams come true. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. I know I could have made a nice, easy exit there, but actually we're going to open up the floor to some questions. If you have any questions, anything at all, then please do ask. We've got some lovely orange t-shirted people who will come around with a microphone. So just whack your hand up and we will get the nearest mic to you. And as soon as you get the mic, you can just speak or sing. It's all okay. Have we got a question? Oh, yeah, there's one. Thank you.
Hiya, I'm Grace. I'm from the Children's Capital of Culture. And I'd just like to ask what advice you'd give to a young person wanting to get into this industry and follow in your footsteps.
Oh, bless you. Well, I would say the first thing is go for it. And it's not always going to be in the way that you think. You know, my entry into children's, I didn't even know was happening. I was presenting on BBC Proms, started speaking about a book I was writing. Next thing I was meeting with Roz. And next thing she had an idea, and then the next thing we're filming a pilot, and then Kay commissioned it, you know, so there's no way in particular, but I would say be present. And you'll see that you can maybe connect some dots, you'll meet people, always network, and you'll find your way. You're in the right place. Thanks. Thank you, another question. Just speak up, because I can't see you.
Hey, YolanDa, that was fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm from a live performance background. I'm now working sort of writing for TV. One of my concerns is that since the pandemic, a lot of live performance venues have closed. A lot of areas for live performance have disappeared. What ways do you think media can support the live performances that you're talking about? Because I've seen you live and it's fantastic. And I think the ways that that connects to children and people are brilliant. But how do we support that from within the media industry?
Very good question. Well, first of all, use the writers and composers that are out there. And there are so many great composers. It is not time just to use library music or AI. It is not time yet. So use these wonderful musicians. But I think there's also synergy between sort of live touring or live performances, and we're talking about theatres, and the children's media. Is it something that can be incorporated into a show, into an education package, into something factual? And I always say to artists, be ready and be willing. Because sometimes, you know, as collaborations happen, sometimes they can happen on the fly. But actually, you might end up at a live gig creating a resource for a school that never had anything before. And I think that it's those kind of asks. Maybe something factual needs to be made about a bassoon, and you happen to be a bassoonist, and you happen to be available. Is there some sort of collaboration that can happen? And I think the more that we work together, there are a lot of musicians that are struggling after the pandemic. Maybe there might be a new road for them. Think outside of the box and use them together. But I think be ready for those calls when they come. You know, I needed that call from Sesame Workshop when they called. During lockdown when we couldn't tour anymore. And they said, do you want to be head of music and do the 40 episodes for Bees Block? I say, oh yes, yes I do. So keep on using these artists, and the artists love it. They absolutely do. I hope that answered some of the question. There was a hand up there. Oh, there's one here.
Hi YolanDa,
Hi.
You made us sing all these beautiful songs here now. What 3 songs define your career, and can you sing them?
Oh my goodness. Oh, very nice. Oh, you've got the whole auditorium behind you there. All right. well, one would definitely have to be a Bob Marley song. So I'd, sun is shining, weather is sweet, yeah. It's a melodica. Make you wanna move your dancing feet to the rescue. I'll keep going. That was one. You'll have to talk to me after I tell you the other two. I think I'd like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It's fun, right? That's two. I'll let you know the other one later. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Yolanda. Thank you for that. You mentioned it earlier, as mums of black and brown children, do you think sometimes representation is lost because of all the animals we have sometimes in children's TV, which they're really cute, they're lovely, but sometimes the representation is lacking, and I think the messages are coming from animals instead of people sometimes.
Yeah. I think you're spot on.
That's above a statement, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on. I mean, I take Bluey. Oh my God, Bluey! I've been crying all week. It's just a lot. She loves it, and actually, you can see the elements of representation that are coming in the different breeds of dogs, right? But it's lost on my daughter. I don't think she understands it at all. I get it, and I'm like, oh, how clever! They've even brought in these different protected characteristics. But I think it's lost on her. So actually, I think it is time to start seeing ourselves. And this is why keeping it real, bringing real people back to the screen is really important. Along with all the other wonderful comments about Yolanda's Bandjam, you know, brown and black families would come to me and say, I can't believe there's somebody with curly hair on my TV. You know, still in 2020, in 2021. So I think there's talent out there. There are people that want to be involved. Use them. Because they're the people that our young people are going to see when they turn off the screen and go outside. And also, I think that you can speak to a child through using, you know, bees, blocks, or dogs or animals. But actually, they do need to see what they see when they go to school as well. And I think I love that. You know, sitcoms and things that happen like that, and using representation in that way is important. So yes, in a short, longer answer. Any more questions? Oh, yeah. Oh, there's another one there. Yeah.
Hi, Yolanda.
Hi.
Well, I do media and communications at university, and we're always talking about informing the audience, and we're talking about how we should be more open about our, you know, strategies and how we make movies or whatever. But when it comes to children's media, in this today's age and time, should we be informing them or protecting them? And if we are informing them, to what extent and how do you do it?
Just clarify for me, so informing them on how you make the movies?
No, informing them about, you know, the world and essentially the world we live in. Because I feel like media is, like a lot of kids, we obviously give them the phone and they watch it. So like, how much are we informing them?
You know, this is a parent answer, I'm afraid. Just because we have technology now and we have more access to younger people's eyes and ears and hearts, I don't think it necessarily means we need to tell them more. We can tell them things in interesting ways. So for example, when I gave you the example of Bees Block, this young child, they were playing superheroes, and it was a black child that wanted to dress up as Super Zoom, and his friend, who he always plays with, says, you can't be Super Zoom, you're black. And that was the line. Actually, that's something that a child would say in the playground, not maliciously, and not even from a racist dark space. Just an observation that actually the superhero on the comic and you don't look the same, so you can't be him. But then the life lesson is, well, no, you can be who you want to be, and it's not about color and race. So, you know, that for me is something that would happen in the playground anyway, you know. you don't necessarily need to tell them about things that wouldn't happen in the playground, is what I'm trying to get at. And I think that's why we do have curriculum. It's why education, and I always do say that children's content is always going to be educational. No matter how fun it is, it's always going to be educational. So when you think about education, you've got to make sure that you're pitching it to the right level and making sure that you're not accelerating it too far. I think that's important. But equally, my parent answer is, you know, if you're sitting together watching, I don't know, watching something on the TV on a Saturday night and something comes up, then you're going to have to explain it to the child, right? But it's not children's content. So that's for the parent to be there for the child. Thanks. I think this is the last question, if that's all right.
Oh gosh, no pressure.
No pressure.
Hi, Yolanda. Dr. Ryan Brown, the University of Sheffield. Firstly, I wanted to congratulate you on recently being appointed Chancellor of the University of Kent.
Oh, thank
which
you.
is yet another thing that you do.
Thank you.
Which is amazing.
My installation is next week, cap and gown.
Look forward to that. I just wondered if you had any thoughts on how the higher education sector could better support the children's media industry moving forward in some of the challenges that you've highlighted today.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot to be said for that ecosystem. You know, universities are, especially if you're thinking about technology or the way that things are made, they are sort of feeding into this ecosystem. And I think that there should be more synergy, definitely. Even in terms of research that has happened at university, maybe research about children and behavior, feeding back to when we're making content and understanding how it affects young people. There's so many different elements that you could pick, but I think that that's when I'm talking about speaking cross-sector and cross-industry. There's always some synergy. There's always something in common. So you shouldn't think, oh, we can't go to universities because that's academics. Well, academics are in children's media all the time. So yes, is the answer. And reach out as well. I think we're living in a time now where you get 75,000 emails a day, and you reply to 65,000 of them. But it doesn't cost anything to reach out anymore. And so just do it and see where that conversation takes you. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Lovely questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of our speakers tonight. And we just have a small CMC thank you to say thank you for joining us on stage. And to all of you, we're underway now. Please come and join us at the reception in the cathedral, which is sponsored by those lovely people at Ardman. And I hope to see you over the next couple of days. Thank you very much.